Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. EQA Nostalgia here, and today I want to talk to you guys very briefly about H-Hour and what's been going on over the past few weeks. Okay, so first of all, the demo is getting very close to its beta phase, and that was pretty fast considering it was only about 6 months ago that they started working on it. And it was actually about a month ago now that David Sears hinted that they were cleaning things up and getting closer to beta, so we should be even further along now. And I don't think anybody really knows how close we are, but I have a feeling that it's pretty much right around the corner. Now, there seems to be a little bit of confusion about when people are going to be able to join in on the beta and actually play the game, and that's not going to be for the demo, that's going to be for the full release. Once the game gets funded and it starts to go into development for the full release of the game, people will be invited to alpha and beta. And I know a lot of people are just dying to get their hands on it, but that's not going to happen for a while. And I understand, everybody's very impatient, they want to play the game. And it seems like it's been forever, but really it's only been about 6 months, and they've been moving very, very rapidly. Now, me personally, I'm looking forward to seeing a new video, a gameplay video, just to get an idea of how far the game's come since we've seen the last one, since we have been giving a lot of feedback and they have been listening. And I'm very interested in seeing how the adjusted run speed has been handled, because I know they said they dialed it down a little bit, which me personally, I don't think it needed to be. And my feeling on that is that people haven't really played a lot of SOCOM over the past few years. Well, at least, the classic style SOCOM. So I think they kind of lost touch with how fast the game was, because it wasn't a slow game. I mean, you moved really quick and things happened fast. And based on the comparative footage we've seen that Rev posted between SOCOM 2 and H-Hour, it looked very, very even. I mean, you have to kind of figure that they have copies of SOCOM 1 and 2 over there to go off of, so it's going to be fairly accurate in terms of replicating speed and things like that. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of you guys wanted to see it get dialed down a little bit. Now, I know they said they're going to be keeping the rifle butt in the game until people get to test it out themselves and see how it feels, and if people still don't like it at that point, then they're going to take it out. Another thing that David had mentioned on his Twitter was that he was working in the crouch run animation, the blend from creeping to sprinting in crouch stance. And that's something that I'm not sure how they're going to handle on the PC, because as you know, there's no way to press the keys and have things kind of slowly creep up and then sprint. You don't have that sensitivity that you do with the sticks. But I'm sure they'll figure out a way to implement that. I'm sure they're going to have something where you press just like the shift key or maybe control, and then you'll start to speed up and gradually pick up speed as you go along. I don't know. But I always like the sensitivity in the sticks where, you press very lightly and you go slow, and then if you hammer down on it, you go faster. And that's one of the things that I think controllers have over, the keyboard and mouse, because a lot of people will tell you that the mouse is much more accurate than the controller. And that's not to say that we don't have a lot of badasses with the sticks that are just really good. And, back in my day, I was really good with the sticks. Really good. But I don't know if I was as quick as someone who's going to have a mouse and keyboard, because I've played a few shooters on the PC, most notably Counter-Strike, and I was just getting my ass handed to me because I was trying to adjust, using the mouse to aim, and people were just blasting me in the face like every single time I came around the corner within like a second. So I think it takes time to adjust to that if you're a console gamer. But me personally, I'm looking forward to it being on PS4 just because that's how I'm used to playing my shooters. And when I think of PC gaming, I think of MMORPGs and stuff like that. I don't really think of shooters. And there's a lot of PC guys who would argue with me, but that's just my stance. And I grew up playing stuff like Medal of Honor on the PlayStation 1, and it just kind of evolved from there, and the height for me was definitely SOCOM. Okay, so moving along, we did get a little bit of a preview of some of the dances in the game, and I thought that was pretty funny. It's always funny to see that kind of stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they had the chicken dance, the thriller dance, and I think the other one is that Gangnam thing. I'm going to sound like an old man right now, but I don't really care for that kind of music. I'm more of a classic rock, metal, and old school rap style person. But yeah, I think that's what that is. That's what the kids are into these days. So yeah, like I said, it was just a brief sampling, and it's not, it's not representative of all the dances. The one that I want to see more than anything is a Carlton, because that shit just cracks me up. I definitely want to see that get into the game. But truth be told, I was never really one of those dancing kind of guys when I killed somebody. I was more the old school classic teabag kind of person, where I just kind of drop down onto your face and rub my schnutz across your head. So yeah, in SOCOM 1, I can't remember if they had dances or not, but I recall doing that a lot, doing the whole teabagging thing a lot. That was really popular back then, and I know people still do it today, but I don't see it that much like I did during the SOCOM days. And I did used to like the dances in SOCOM too, particularly where you would do the backflip, and if you kept tapping the X button, you would kind of slow down, and it would look really crazy, like you'd be kind of glitching a little bit back to your feet. I used to do that a lot too. Okay, so that pretty much brings me to the last thing I wanted to talk about, and that was the playtest interview. Those guys seemed very excited for the game, and they seemed genuine. And I know that's one of the concerns that people have, is whenever somebody goes to the studio and they meet the developers and they play the game, you know, they're worried that those people might reserve their judgment a little bit more than usual because, you know, they're in the moment, they're caught up in the moment, and they're starstruck or whatever. But they seemed very genuine to me. They seemed like genuine SOCOMers that knew what SOCOM was and what it's supposed to be, and they were very happy about the direction the game was taking. Now, I know that doesn't help address everybody's concerns because they're random people that nobody really knows, but we've also heard from Suck My Turban, and he's told us that everything is coming along great. It feels like SOCOM and it looks great. So if you're part of the SOCOM community and you don't necessarily trust a bunch of strangers that alpha tested the game, you should at least be able to trust what Turban says, because he doesn't pull any punches. You guys know that. And you know, when people went to play test SOCOM 4, a few of them came out and they said, no, this doesn't feel like classic SOCOM. And they did that on Turban's channel. Speaking of Turban, they did that right on his channel. He was asking them questions, and they came forward and said, no, absolutely not. It doesn't feel like that. And nobody's done that. You would think that at least one person would do that. And we haven't seen that. We've had alpha testers and beta testers. No one's been on the forums anonymously saying, oh, you guys need to be aware. None of that's happened. So yeah, I mean, I didn't need that reassurance. I didn't. I don't require it. Because as soon as I heard about David Sears, and then when Russ Phillips came into the project, that was it for me. I knew everything was going to go smooth. And some people might call that blind faith. Whatever, you call it what you want, but I've always had a good feeling about this, and I just know it's going to turn out great. Okay, so that is about it. Now, I'm sorry I haven't been able to crank these videos out, but there hasn't really been too much to go off of. You know, there hasn't been any new gameplay, and it's kind of hard when the game's in early development to keep bringing you guys content at a steady and regular pace. And I've actually received quite a few messages of people saying, hey, what the hell's going on? You going to continue bringing HR, or what's all this MMORPG crap you're doing? I don't care about that. Well, like I said, it's tough to bring out videos that are relevant. Once the game does come out, there's going to be a shitload of HR related content on this channel. I mean, I'm going to be playing the game, I'm going to be talking about the weapons, I'm going to be talking about the characters, single player story, maps, all that shit. And there's going to be a lot of it. So yeah, with that having been said, I thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video.